What does writing a column for a newspaper have in common with running a breakfast and lunch restaurant? If you said nothing, you'd be right. Laura Raposa and Steve Syre were each columnists for the state's two biggest newspapers, the Boston Herald and the Boston Globe, when they decided to turn their worlds upside down and try their hands at managing and running an eatery in Duxbury. I visited these two brave people, and here's their story. You may have noticed here in Duxbury Center that there's a new bakery in town. What you may not have noticed is that the Foodsmith bakery is owned and run by two celebrities. Their star status is easy to overlook since you likely never saw their faces on TV. But if you read the Boston Globe or the Boston Herald at any point over the last 20 years, there's a good chance you read one of their columns. Trading in their pens, pads, keyboards, and columns for bread knives and baked goods, this couple is taking on the business endeavor of their lives: restaurant ownership. Running a bakery was certainly a change of pace for these two former newspaper columnists, but if you ask them, this labor of love was a welcome change.
I have absolutely no background in business whatsoever. I was a gossip columnist at the Boston Herald for many years, 21 years as a matter of fact, but I was there for 30. But while I wrote the inside track, I also had this secret life where I cooked and baked and took classes and catered and did all these things because it made me happy. I love feeding people. That's what I love. And the other thing was my job, but what really I was passionate about was cooking and baking.
After an extensive search for a storefront, they found themselves here in Duxbury, and they managed to build up plenty of interest before the store even opened.
We opened here in late August, and we spent a good part of the year building out our space before we could actually open. And the response almost from the get-go has been terrific. People have been very generous to us. We're next to a very popular ice cream shop, so as we were painting and doing other things through the summer, people would literally just walk into the store as it was being built and ask us things about it. So there was a lot of curiosity, and once we opened, a lot of business that was just very enthusiastic about us being in their area.
Just as Steve Syre found the vast difference between writing a business column and running a business, so has Laura Raposa with regards to managing the restaurant.
Baking and having this store is much harder than being a gossip columnist at the Boston Herald. And frankly, I really enjoy this. I feel like I'm part of a community. The people who come in are regulars. I know their names, I know their children, I know their grandchildren, I know what the kids were for Halloween. I knew all that and what they wanted for Christmas, and I just love being part of this town. And what's great about this town is that they support local business.
We were millions of miles away from this as a business and as a professional background. This was something that she wanted to do very specifically, and I was very engaged by trying to make the business work. And that's kind of how we committed to doing this, and it's been an education, to say the least.
Outside the Foodsmith on Standish Street in Duxbury, I'm Brian Sullivan for PCN.